Hey guys, I'm back bringing you another review, this time of the Mezco King Kong of Skull Island, and this is the PX Previews exclusive version, so the black and white version of the figure. I got this guy a while ago at Universal Studios of all places, or Universal City Walk, more accurately. At actually relatively decent price. I'm pretty sure it was retail price, or at least close to retail price, so not bad considering some of those prices on City Walk can be pretty crazy. But yeah, I thought this would be something different. Haven't really done a Mezco review before, at least not one that I remember, and I've been wanting to talk about this guy for a while, so let's just get right into it, starting with the box, of course, as always. So this is a massive box, by the way. This thing's freaking huge. On it says King Kong of Skull Island. There's some it's hard to tell what that is. Some type of temple, maybe. Some type of temple of worship, maybe, for Kong. Says King Kong of Skull Island down here, same font. PX Previews exclusive. And on the side here, got some skulls, it looks like. Is that an ape? And another skull. On the side it says King Kong of Skull Island. That's a cool logo. I dig that. On the back here, some pictures of the figure. This is all in black and white, by the way. I'm not sure if it changes with the other versions. But yeah, and that's actually, that's kind of cool. I didn't realize that. That's just a hole where it would go on, like the shelf peg or whatever you call it. But it's funny because like this, it kind of looks like he's roaring at the moon or something. It's just kind of cool. I don't know if it's intentional or not, or sun. I mean, I guess it could work. I don't know. It just looks like that from this point of view. So here we got King Kong Skull Island again. Like I said, some pictures of the figure. The accessories, he comes with quite a few accessories. Basically, this is just a description of the accessories and the figure itself. It's not like a bio or anything. On the bottom right here, we got mezcotoys.com. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay, I didn't know they had a YouTube channel, actually. So, is this side any different? No, it is. Let's see, what is that? I believe it's just more temple stuff. And then that same logo again, which is so cool. But, yeah, this is about as much as I can see. The rest, if there's a background behind this, it's kind of obscured behind all the plastic. So, let's see. Ages 17 and up. Okay, there's a little bit here. Adult collector. So, yeah, be careful. You don't want your kid to choke on Kong. So here I have Kong stripped down to his most basic of forms, I guess, if you want to call it that, for this figure. This figure's actually pretty big, maybe a little too big for me to really fit all of his accessories out here with him, so I'm just going to go through them one by one here and bring them on as I show. As well as some dust there. And being that this is a black and white figure, and it impacts the paint a little bit on not just the figure, but the accessories as well, which is pretty cool. So first off, comes with this big old bone here. Is it meant to be a Kong bone? I'm not sure, because the other bone he comes with, if you want to call it that, is indeed from his species. But I don't know, this looks a little big to be his species. Yeah, because it doesn't really... I don't know, is that a Kong bone? But either way, it's very well painted. It may just look white here, but it is mostly white with some grayish shading throughout. Again, it's still painted to look like if it were black and white, or if it were from a black and white movie or something. Which, black and white movies, they have black and white, but also, you know, the grays, shades of gray in between. So yes, it looks very cool. It's a very large bone. Like I said, he can wield it to beat up dinosaurs or whatever the heck he wants. If this fits in this hand, I'm not sure. If this hand is the correct... You could probably make it fit, but I'm not sure if that's the correct one. But yeah, if I were to guess, I'd say it's like a femur. A really large leg bone. Yeah. Looks to be what it is. It inserts at the hip there, yeah. I know anatomy, oh my god. Okay, so there's that. And then the next one, like I was talking about, this is indeed from its species. It is a skull. Skull Island. When you name your figure the Kong of Skull Island figure, I guess you gotta include a skull. Because otherwise, what's the point? Yeah. And this is very clearly a Kong species skull. So, like the Skull Island movie, there is some Kong species have been wiped out on his home island, which is very sad. Is he the last of his species? I don't know. Depends on what continuity this is. I think Mezco are just kind of making their own design of Kong, not based on any particular movie or any other adaptation of Kong. Again, very well sculpted, very well painted, looks very cool, and they are pretty accurate. They match that up really well scale-wise to Kong's actual head, so that there can be no mistake what species this skull is from. But damn, he's got some chompers on him. Alright. And this is only the upper half, or... No, this is basically the full skull. The only thing that's missing is the lower jaw, as it appears. So, yeah. It's very, very cool. He's got this kind of mohawk thing going on top of his head. Alright. Next is going to be... He comes with an alternate head. Much more ferocious, roaring Kong. And this makes me want to kind of bring back this skull here, just so you can see, he's got some chompers on him, that's for sure. I don't know if he's supposed to be an herbivore, or, I don't know. Do gorillas eat meat? Man, I don't know. This one probably does. I mean, in Kong Skull Island, he eats that squid thing, so I don't know. He's probably an omnivore. He probably eats meat and veggies, if you want, whatever you want to say, but meat, fruit, vegetables, it's all fair game. He just eats whatever he feels like, I guess. People? No, he doesn't eat people. He's got a conscience, we all know that, right? We've seen the movies. He's not a bad ape. Alright, but yeah, I like this head sculpt. I almost prefer it to the more calm one, just because it looks so damn cool. He just looks so mean and ferocious and intimidating. Yeah, I got the sculpted the teeth there. Some of the paint could be better. The tongue looks good. Got the tongue in there, the back of his throat. It's got a bit of a shine to it, the inside of his mouth. Nice touch. Same with his eyes. Eyes look very cool. For what what sort of limitations they had to work with the paint in regards to it only being able to be black and white and shades of gray, they really did a lot with this paint. His eyeballs look really cool. It almost is like more intimidating with black and white with these eyes. Even though you can see his pupils in there. It's got these milky white eyes around it, but yeah, it looks really, really cool. He's got that mohawk thing going on, which I guess is not a stylistic choice on behalf of Kong. It's part of his bone structure, I guess. So, there's that. Maybe I'll swap this out. Oh yeah, now we're talking. This is probably how I'll have him displayed when he's like this without his chains or without Anne to calm him down. Actually, maybe with the chains he'd still have this because he'd be pretty pissed off. But with Anne, maybe with Anne he'd be a little calmer. And if we're going to have this head on for the time being, then we might as well show you his other head. The first one here, the more calm. He's still not in the greatest mood, but he's a little more calm. And you can see the eyes better on this one for some reason, and this lighting. But yeah, like I said, they were able to do a lot with this paint, with the black and white paint. I like all the little wrinkles on the top of his forehead here, just the wrinkling all around his face, his brow, above his brow here, how the eyes are sunken in. There's the ape-like face structure. No, his nostrils there. You better look at his teeth. The paint for the teeth was a little bit more clean on this sculpt. It came out a little more clean. Sculpting in the fur, obviously. I like this. He still got a little bit of a mohawk going. He seems to have a little bit more on this one, but I don't know. Also, you can get a better look at that. Come on now. Come on now. I said focus, goddammit. What do I have to do? There. Oh, there we go. You see some of the wrinkles there on top of his forehead and just all around there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, oh, what just happened? Who turned out the lights? There we go. There we go. But yeah. I spoke of the chains, and yes, he comes with the chains from when he was chained up after being brought to New York from Skull Island. So, more like King Kong of Skull Island and New York, right? Shoot me now. Okay, the paint, again, really well done. You can tell they managed to get a silvery sheen on there, despite their limitations, and I can't tell if this is a metal chain or not. At first I thought it was plastic, but it's got some heft to it, and just based on the noises it's making, it might actually be a real metal chain, which is very cool. Always a nice touch when a company uses a metal chain for whether it be things like this, like chains for if someone's like a prisoner or something, or whether it's like a Ghost Rider chain or Michelangelo's nunchucks or something. Chains are always appreciated. Real metal chains. I mean, any sort of chain is better than just static sculpting, but metal is always preferred, obviously. It's just got that extra authenticity to it, and who doesn't like to hear that jingle? So yeah, I really only need to show you one because they're both identical. I'll put them on him real quick so you can see. They basically open up like so, and you can snap them around his wrist like this. And to get them off, you kind of got to have some fingernails, because you got to dig in between here to get that. To get that pop back open. So yeah, there's him with his chains. It's always cool to see the real metal chains hanging like that. But yeah, there's that, and he comes with several alternate hands. He comes with a pair of open hands, or yeah, except with some of them the fingers are slightly curled, so they're more semi-open hands than like full-on open hands, because I still feel like, especially this one is a little bit more gripped. That's probably the one that's meant to hold this, because there is a hand with a very small grip that's made specifically for holding the Andero figure, which is another accessory, of course. he comes with a pair of fisted hands, because sometimes Kong's just gotta punch a motherfucker. Especially those damn dinosaurs. They're giant spiders. All sorts of horrors on that island. So yeah, it comes with some fists. And then I already mentioned the Andero little figurine. I don't want to take her out of his hand because I'm afraid of paint chipping. I don't want to mess with that, but she is very well sculpted, especially the eyes. I'm surprised they were able to get that amount of expression out of a little figure like that. Just by putting the eyes in the right place, it really adds to her look of horror. And she's got the dress on and everything. Does she have shoes? Does she have shoes? Let me take a look. Holy crap, I think she's wearing shoes. Her shoes managed to stay on, so that's good for her, I guess, maybe. Yeah, it's pretty well sculpted little figure. Well done little figure. And she's obviously all grayscale or light gray or white. I believe she's blonde, so yeah. Actually, of course she's blonde, or else they would probably make it a darker gray or a black. And then she's got her lipstick was done in a little bit of a darker, like I said, black there. So really, really nice, cool little figure. Definitely a cool accessory to have with Kong. The only woman who could calm the beast. Oh my god. Alright, now let's talk about the rest of the figure. We've already talked about the head, so let's talk about sculpting for the rest. I've had a lot of Kong figures over the years. I kind of grew up almost collecting Kong figures. Or I would always have one on hand as a little kid. I don't know why I was obsessed with Kong figures. Just because maybe I always thought I just liked looking at them, because a lot of them are always like really detailed, because he's always all scarred up from battle. And they got, obviously, he's a giant ape or gorilla, so it's got all the cool fur detailing, and all of that is on here, obviously, with this figure. Mezco's known for their sculpting, and this is all really, really cool and well done, and the paintwork is all, like I said, really good, and they did a lot with this whole black and white thing, making this exclusive a viable variant, a worthwhile variant. And he does have some scarring here, with some slash marks across his chest. And let's see, some more fur detailing here. Just very, very well done. It says chest musculature here. His gorilla nips are there, if you can make them out. And then on the back, just look at that back, bro. Even with all that fur, you can still tell Kong doesn't miss a day at the gym. He's pretty jacked, pretty big, muscly giant ape. So there you got his legs there, stumpy legs. Just the shape of the figure, it's very, very cool, very obviously ape-like. At the back of his head there, I'm not sure if you've seen that yet. All the fur sculpting of that is really well done. You got his shoulders here, his boulder shoulders. Like I said, he doesn't miss the gym or whatever he does. He's just an active gorilla that beats the crap out of things. So he's just getting that activity. And just, things work out for her. So yeah, you gotta be built tough to take down all those other giant monsters and hold your own, His hands, not sure if I talked directly about them. Obviously they don't have the fur covering the whole hand, but the sculpting of the skin there, very cool. His fingers, little fingernails, the fingernails the same color as the hand. They aren't like sculpted a different color or anything. Not that sculpted a different color, painted a different color. Not that they would need to be. Kong doesn't use nail polish. And then we got his feet here. Obviously, with primates, they almost have, there's almost an extra set of hands, so they look shaped more like hands than what you would think of as feet. But yeah, you got those long toes. I'll copy Shartimus Prime here, but they look very, very nice. And he could probably hang from a tree with his feet if there was any tree big or strong enough to support his weight. Probably weighs several tons, hundreds maybe. But yeah, there he is in all his glory. Now let's talk about articulation and get the hell out of here. I've been rambling too long, like I always do in every goddamn video. Alright, come on. I get that correct angle so that I can actually. Okay, so articulation here. He has a decent amount of articulation, but the range of motion honestly isn't the greatest. But I mostly bought this guy to look at because a well done Kong figure just always looks really cool, and this is no exception. So the head is on a double ball joint, so it can't really look up much, but it can look side to side really well. It looks really kind of naturally. It looks very natural there. He can look up a little bit, especially when you consider where his eye line is. It is a decent amount. So down, not the most. I prefer a little bit. Maybe enough. The head articulation isn't really the main issue here. He's got a decent amount of posability there. For shoulders, they go out that much. Yeah. And back in. Fully rotate. He's got a bend in the elbow, which is very slight. Almost just like a 45 degree, if I'm being honest. And there's a rotation at the elbow as well. And so no bicep swivel. He's got the rotation at the elbow though. His wrists are also on a ball joint, but decent range there for the hand and the wrist. I think this is my main issue, is the diaphragm joint. It's really just a rotation. You can't really do much else with it. I prefer a little bit of crunching action, whether that be forward and back, side to side, or preferably both, but it's really just more of a rotation than anything. And the hips, they don't move much either. They kick back, honestly. They kick back more than they kick forward. They don't really kick forward hardly at all. And they don't really go out much either. They go out a little bit, but not much. And then he's got a very slight bend in the knee, maybe even less than the arm, or maybe less than the elbow. He's got a rotation at the knee too, similar to with the arm. And then his feet are also on the ball joints, so you can rotate them forward and back a little bit, and rotate them. They're kind of stiff, and he does have a slight amount of ankle pivot, but not a huge amount. But his feet don't really go out much. Anyway, actually, maybe I was wrong. Kong doing his diva pose here, but maybe it's just a pain. But still, not the most mobile figure out there. It's really more of a display piece than anything. You're not gonna get like a ton of crazy poses out of this guy. So there you have him, Kong of Skull Island. A pretty cool figure. I don't know exactly what the colored version looks like, or the non-black and white version. But honestly, I kind of prefer owning the black and white version, just because it makes me remember the original movies, or even the spirit of the original movies. Or just those classic monster movies in general, like Kong and Godzilla. But this is a decent figure, especially for a display piece. It looks very cool. It comes with some pretty awesome accessories, a pretty good array of them too, from like these bone weapons to the real chains with with the binding restraints he's got. It's a little Andero. It's actually pretty well sculpted. I think this is really cool to have as a Kong fan. As a fan of those old monster movies, or just any version of Kong in general. So, and also, so if you're in Universal City Walk, if you're a Kong fan, if you spot this guy in the shop, go ahead and pick him up. He's probably one of the cheaper figures you can get there. That's worth the price, and just a really well done and good looking display piece. If you want like just a well sculpted, well done figure of a big monster, then you'll pretty much get what you pay for with this guy. I didn't really want to do many comparisons because this has been running pretty long, but I'll do one. Here he is next to the only other Mezco figure I really have on hand, the Mortal Kombat X Scorpion. So as you can see, he isn't really... It's hard to pin him down to an actual scale. If I were to say, I'd say it's like about 8 inches tall, probably. It doesn't really fit in the scale with any particular action figure line. It's really meant to just be kind of its own sort of display piece. So it might work with like your NECA Godzillas if you want to do a Godzilla versus Kong thing. They're about the same size. This is probably about the same size as one of those NECA Godzillas. And close in height anyways. He's probably a bit beefier than those Godzillas. But that being said, I'll leave you with this question. Do you think Godzilla vs. Kong is actually going to come out this year? I sure as hell don't. But either way, I mean, let's hope it's a fun movie when it finally does hit theaters. Whenever theaters open. I mean, I heard some are coming back, but I don't know. It's going to be a process, folks. Just like with everything. Alright, I hope you guys are having a good time, being safe, and being careful. But, I'll catch you guys in the next video, whatever it may be.